Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording though. Can you see now?
No, I don't see anything.
I'm Jen.
Jen?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Robin Allen.
Robin Allen?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Gwen Coleman. This is my name sign. You want to use it?
Jeff, do you have it on gallery view?
Yeah, for now.
And you don't see our names down at the bottom of our windows?
Okay, I just,
Now they're showing.
okay, good. I was gonna say, I just changed where you all could, all panelists can see the names and faces. So you all can see one another now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so let me see if I can get the slide up right quick, Ro.
Okay.
Karen, you want to do about 15, 20 minute switches? Or
Sure.
what do you want to do? Depending on how the pace is.
Between 15 and 20. And you disconnected the audio for our direct line. Do you want that disconnected or do you want me to call you back?
Yeah, call me back.
Will y'all self-initiate that switch or does Deborah need to prompt that?
The only problem might be if Blair doesn't have both of us pinned. When we switch it, she might go, whoa, I don't have an interpreter anymore. So when Blair gets on, I can just tell her that we'll tell her, we're going to switch now, so you need to pin the other interpreter.
Okay, so y'all will handle the switching aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's see here. Share screen.
So Deborah, you're not going to do spotlight,
Spotlight?
right? We're going to just pin, is that right?
Well, tell me about the pen. I've never done pen, so you need to educate me.
Maybe Karen's better at educating you.
You have to explain spotlight. I know pin.
I don't know if we want to do spotlight because that'll spotlight who's speaking, and then Blair's going to lose us on the screen. So
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, probably just pin people when they're speaking. They become bigger on the screen, and people.
So do I do that, Jeff? How do I do that?
No, I think each person does it on their own. They can pin. Just click on the. I think it's 3. Yeah.
Say it again. 3 what? 3 what?
3 little dots up in the corner of the screen.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so if I go to my picture, where's my picture? I don't see my picture. Let me go to row. Click on the 3 little dots and go down and I see, okay, pin video. Okay, I got you.
Do I have to do
Learn
anything
something
like that or no?
No, you don't have to do anything.
Okay,
We got it.
Okay.
We're
We
learning.
just have to answer questions.
We're
Now,
learning.
Ro, I guess I need to, because if I put this,
You need to share the screen again with the picture.
yeah, but it's gonna cover, if I do from beginning, slideshow from beginning, will it not cover? Okay. No.
There are no
Let's
slides
see.
up here now.
I'm showing slides.
Can you
I
all
see them.
see?
Are you all seeing them? I'm not
Yeah.
seeing them. Oh, wait, here it is. Never mind, I got it. Ugh.
It's your handsome fellas, guys.
Yeah,
Not too
it's
loud,
not-
Jeff.
Here, switch. Okay, now we're good. Now won't it open up? Here we go. Okay, I got it.
Perfect.
I only spend 8 hours a day on Zoom. You'd think I could do this by now.
Jeff, I'm gonna need you to iron this stuff back here one day. I'm just saying. I'm like, that's not my standard.
Fly in here, a bug or something.
You're being recorded, just so you know. I don't know everything you just said, but I want to be careful.
Deborah,
Let me make sure I stop the recording. I had to step away, so I know that it had started. Okay, it's on pause. You're not being recorded. You can keep talking.
Deborah, how do we check on
Jeff,
the
you're muted. They didn't hear you.
how do we check
How do we what?
how do we check on the captioning?
Well, let me see. Look at participants and see if she's on.
Okay.
Not
yet.
No. She probably won't join until right at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the webinars I've been on, the captioner will join right on time.
Okay.
And she will end on time.
I have a question. Will the captioner join as a panelist or an attendee?
Panelist.
Yeah, she's a panelist.
Okay. And then Blair will be joining as an attendee?
Yeah, and I told him to try to jump on
Early.
3:45, so we tell them how about pinning the two of you all.
Just
Yeah, so you want
for now.
me to call breaks, Jeff, every 15 or 20 minutes?
20's fine.
Okay,
20 would be fine. Then we'll just switch real quick.
all right. Now, Ro, so when I stop shit, you want me to leave this on, or when they start speaking and you start asking questions, you want me to go to full?
Right. Yeah.
To see who's speaking.
Right. Just leave it on till the first question's asked, and then you can remove it.
Okay. All right, so if I remove this, I'm gonna have to enlarge. I guess I can go to, which is it, this grid video? Maybe.
So, sorry, I have one more concern.
Sure.
Okay.
So when Blair joins, if Blair has a question, if she's an attendee, I assume you have it set up like I set up my Zoom webinars, which the attendees are automatically muted and their videos off. So if she's an attendee, the only way she can ask a question is through the chat box, or are you going to go into her profile and turn her video on?
I think I can turn her, is it a she or a he?
I believe Blair Johnson is a she. She's the manager of the Charlotte Center, if she's the person I met.
Okay. Yeah, I should have, let me try. Let me see if I can go in and turn somebody on and off. I'm gonna show small active speaker. I'm looking at the different views. No, I don't like that.
But now all you have is the panelists. You don't have the.
There's no.
Yeah, but now when you speak, it shows up. So the grid, this is the grid. That's the thumbnail or whatever, something.
So I presented a webinar yesterday, and we had a deaf participant, excuse me, that wanted to speak, and they wanted to sign their question. And so I struggled, not realizing they couldn't turn their own video on. So I went to click they had permission, but that only gave them permission for audio. And then I had to click another step. I had to make them a panelist so that they could then show their video. So that was new to me. I had never gone through that experience. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, I see the microphone and the video by each name. I wish Blair would jump on. So we've got one attendee now. Let's see who it is.
And Deborah, just FYI, I think your speed sometimes slows down, so you sound like you go. So just FYI, sometimes it kind of goes out a little bit.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, I don't know. It just may be a signal thing every once in a while that hits. So no big deal. It's only a short time. Just wanted to make you aware of it.
My internet.
Looks like a couple of attendees now.
Okay, we have 2 participants on.
2 attendees, yeah.
Yeah, but not Blair. Let me see if I can mute and unmute them or change them. Let's see. Teresa, can you hear me? This is Deborah Pickens with the North Carolina Deafblind Project. Teresa? Okay.
She doesn't have a
She
microphone
may-
next to her name.
Yeah, she may not have her microphone on. Okay, let me go back. I'm gonna mute her. And let's try, see if Janelle. Janelle. Okay.
So Teresa chatted, if you see her
What
message.
did she say? Hold
She
on,
said,
let me get
hello,
down.
Rowena. I can hear you, but you cannot hear me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not giving me the option. I would have to make Blair a panelist in order for her to be able to ask a question. Or either she can type it in the chat box, and I'm going to be monitoring the chat box. Okay, so we got the Q&A. Where's the chat box?
Look at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, I see
It's next to share
participants,
screen.
polls. Hmm.
There's Blair.
Oh, I
She's
see
on.
it. Okay, I see it.
Now, if I'm speaking, will my face just appear? Do you do that or do I do that? Do I?
No, you turned on your video, right?
Yeah, you can see me.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, we can see you.
Okay.
And, okay, so I need to get to,
And Blair is with us.
okay, you see Blair?
Yes.
I think the attendees are going to have to use the chat box for questions.
I agree.
You just have to say that in the housekeeping.
I will. And that's actually what I've written down to say. So we're all good.
I'm going to make Blair a panelist
Okay.
if I can. Let's see here. It may not allow me to chat. The captioners is here.
Wonderful.
Remove, promote to panelists. Okay, all right, I think we did this. Okay, now I'm allowed to talk. And
There's no button at the bottom to enable captions. Rowena, do you see a way to enable captions?
No, I was just looking myself.
you have to click on the more, the three dots to your far right, click on,
It's not there.
and then close caption.
Nope, I don't get closed caption. All I get is record on this computer.
Same for me.
Yeah, there's no more on our options.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn on the video for Blair.
No one else is seeing the option for captioning either.
And the captioner is
Okay.
joined as an
Actually,
attendee,
it's, I
not a
just
panelist.
found it. If you guys go to your mute button, the little carrot,
Yeah.
like audio settings,
Uh-huh.
and then go to accessibility at the bottom. It gives you the option. I don't see where to turn it on though.
Always show meeting controls.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Uh-uh.
If you look at the chat, Blair is adding that you have to set up the Zoom meeting
Right.
so
For
that it's an option.
We did.
It's not there.
Yeah.
Assign someone to type. No, we've done that. We have a contract with them.
The captioner said it could be in the settings.
Hmm.
Yes, she
More.
said assign her to type.
It assigned her to type?
Yeah, she said, yes, assign me to type.
Okay.
Okay.
See. Where is she?
Blair said, yes, you need to assign it. Assign to type.
Okay, I'm looking. What's the name again? Why can't I find? Oh, I was on panelists and not. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Promote to panelists. Huh. She should already been a panelist. Okay. Now she's a panelist. And let's go to. Okay. Assign to type. Okay. Ask her in the chat box if tell her to type something.
Okay.
Testing, testing.
She's setting it up right now.
Okay. All right. So let's see. What time do we have here?
It is,
4:01.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's give it, because we had 80 people to register and we're at 16 now. So let's give it another minute or two and we'll get started.
Closed captions now available. Thank you so much. We appreciate your help.
Yeah. Now we
Okay,
can
so, Ro, you know how to tell them to,
They can hear everything we're saying.
okay, but in terms of instructions, I'm trying to get back to, they have to go to the control panel at the bottom, I believe, click on more, and then click on closed caption.
It's actually an option now at the bottom, closed caption.
Okay, perfect, perfect. That's the way it needs to be. Okay.
Yes, thank y'all so much. We appreciate your assistance.
Because we're going to be starting shortly. Blair, are you okay in terms of pinning the Jeff and Karen? Pin them to your screen?
This is Blair. Yep. Sure do.
Great.
Thank you for asking.
Excellent. Great.
Wonderful.
So Karen. Karen. Hey,
You're
Yeah.
not muted.
huh? No, not muted. Should be on my controller. Hold on.
Deborah, you think we're in good shape to start?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
I think we should. We are so excited everyone's here with us today. Thank y'all so much for being here. Welcome to a North Carolina Deafblind Project webinar. I want to start by introducing myself. My name is Rowena Barker. Everybody calls me Ro. I am the Family Engagement Coordinator for the North Carolina Deafblind Project. I have 3 children, and my middle child, son, is 22 years old, and he has Charge syndrome and is on the North Carolina Deafblind Census. I'm going to ask Deborah to introduce herself and just tell you briefly about our project.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. My name is Deborah Pickens, and I've been with ECAC for 6 years. I'm a parent educator, and I'm also the co-director for the North Carolina Deafblind Project. I also have a son that's totally blind with hearing loss. He is 23, and I've been working with the project for 6 years, as long as I've been with ECAC. We have done a lot of great workshops, webinars, whether it's communications, transition, I mean, just whatever. We normally ask the parents, what do you need? And we try to meet that need. And that's how this webinar came about. Rowena suggested, well, let's ask the parents. I mean, let's talk to them about their concerns. And I thought that was an excellent idea, given what all we are going through now. But continue to make sure you follow us on Facebook, and make sure you let us know what your concerns are and what you need. And we're going to have to adjust. We all are getting used to this new technology, a way of doing workshops via webinars, but we can make it work, and we all learning together. I'm gonna turn it back to Rowena, and we'll get started with the webinar.
Wonderful. Thank you, Deborah. So next, I want to thank our 3 parent panelists who are with us today. They all share the commonality of being, they're juggling. They're all 3 hardworking professionals with careers, as well as being moms of learners with deaf blindness who are all on our North Carolina Deafblind Census. Many thanks to each of you for the gift of your precious time and for granting us full access into a window of your world. We are so grateful for the opportunity to listen to each of your narratives today. We have Jen Chow with us today, the mother of Andrew. As you can see, there are handsome pictures of these 3 handsome fellas, and Andrew is 11 and a middle school student. We also are joined by Robin Allen, whose son is Kyle. He's 15 and a high school student. And also we have Gwen Coleman with us today, whose son David is 27 and enjoying exploring post-secondary life. So it's nice to have 3 young men who represent different ages and stages of life. Deborah?
And Rowena, I forgot to tell them that this webinar is being recorded.
Thank you. This webinar is being recorded. The majority of the families that we serve have children on the deafblind census who are also challenged with significant and complex needs in addition to the dual sensory loss. We are continually reminded that the more we listen and learn from each other, the better off we all are. Our families experience a shared life experience that others truly can't wrap their head around. So now, all of us have unwillingly hopped on board of the Corona coaster and have been subjected to a crisis crash course in pandemic parenting. This is certainly an unprecedented time in history. We want to help each other get through this together. Hearing from our parents is critical to our ability to provide with precision the supports and services they need. The experiences and the input that you share with us today is invaluable to our work, our efforts, and our efficacy. We want to meet each family exactly where they are. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 has created a minefield the landscape has dramatically changed. This is what we call a life quake, an event that causes serious disruption in your life. We are all being asked to continually recalibrate as things continue to shift in this fluid situation. We know our families have experienced throughout this, all of this, days that will forever be remembered for the weight of their woes. We know there have been many ouch moments, as well as a sprinkling of mercy moments. We want to know and listen closely to each of you today as you share your heart with us. We also want to clearly hear your battle cry and heed the call. So we're going to question number 1. We would like to take the pulse of your personal journey these last few months. Please share in a raw, real, and unfiltered way the impact and toll that COVID-19 has had on your family. Please describe the struggles, concerns, and the tough stuff. I would love to start with Jen, if that's okay.
Sure. So my name is Jen Chow, and thank you for the intro, Rowena. As Rowena had said, I'm the mom of Andrew, an 11-year-old Charger, and he has just transitioned to middle school. Doesn't know it yet. That's okay. We'll get there. But yeah, starting this journey down this COVID path, a ton of anxiety, right? Trying to figure out how we're going to inform Andrew, tell him you're not going to go to school anymore. What you know as your normal is not going to be your normal for an indefinite period of time. As most kids like structure and schedules and sticking to them, so do we, right? So my husband and I kind of talked about how are we going to do this? What's it going to look like? Of course, we didn't know the full scope of this, but just to kind of set the stage. So COVID started and my husband had applied for a new role and accepted a new role during COVID. So he hadn't met his team members, his manager, and certainly didn't know he would be working 12 to 15 hours a day. So that leaves the, basically the mom and dad duties to me. Meanwhile, in my company, we're going through a lot of change, which I'm sure a lot of families are experiencing that for those who are working. And I actually am fearing for my own job. I have to split my time between Andrew and my day job. And with COVID, there are constraints within the company, and I have been tapped now twice to transition to a new type role within the company to kind of fill those gaps, right? And just kind of be, wherever they need me to be, which means learning a new job, taking, going through training with this new job. And having done it now twice, this is the second time, keeping Andrew on the straight and narrow. It's just been a real struggle. He doesn't understand. We just keep telling him that school's closed for 5 weeks. That's what we decided we were going to tell him, and he does now understand that. He is a child that loves to learn. He is really grasping at that, and he needs the one-on-one support, which he gets in school. I cannot provide that. I as I mentioned, trying to take care of my job and take care of him, I don't have enough bandwidth. So it's been a struggle. Speaking about transitioning into middle school, that's a whole new thing. We are thinking through kind of what next steps are going to look like. But yeah, it's definitely been tough. It's difficult to explain things to him, keeping him at the house where he's not able to be with his friends. He doesn't see his teachers. He's asking for them all the time, asking for his friends, and really just emotional. It's just really hard. And the concerns that I have are kind of what's on the other side of this, right? None of us truly know, but how to weather that storm for our son and provide his needs, right? Meet his needs for whatever that changing situation is going to look like. So as for now, I mean, we're on a good path, I feel like, for what it is and kind of where we've been. So I'm grateful for that. And I am truly that person that looks for the silver lining. So while it's been super tough, you know, we have continued to strengthen his academics and really hone in on that when and where we can. But yes, it has been difficult.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate your sharing. I'm going to ask Robin to answer next, please.
Okay, well, excuse me. I'm a little hoarse too, so I might do this. I have water, but hopefully everyone can hear me. So my son is Kyle Phillips, and Kyle is 15. Kyle has a rare syndrome. It's called a Cardi-Gutierrez syndrome, and he was born with this syndrome. It's genetic. I'm actually a carrier, and I didn't know it. So it's an inflammatory disorder, and it affects his brain, his skin, and his immune system. So he's very severe and very high risk. So it's really, really scary. This COVID or coronavirus is really scary for me because it's so much that's unknown about it. So that has been a fear of mine since this has started. What do I do? You know, do I take him to his doctor's appointments? Do I take him out? Do I keep him inside? So that has been a struggle for me. We would go to doctor's appointments maybe at least 2 or 3 times a month. Our neurologist told us don't go to any more appointments. We're going to do them all virtually. And so that's what we've been doing. For me, one of my biggest concerns, I just took a few notes to kind of jog my memory, were how this would affect him because he is so severe and it's just so much unknown about this. I'm really afraid for him to be around people, others. So for school, he's definitely not returning. So I am in the process of homeschooling, which is going to be a whole struggle, but I am actually a teacher. So, you know, I know how to teach, but I think it's going to affect my income because do I continue? Do I go back into teaching? What do I do? I have another career that I can work in part-time, but again, he has to have someone to watch him while I'm at work. So that's a struggle. And so for me, it's really been a challenge. He also has very severe pressure sores. I relocate him. He's wheelchair, so he's in a wheelchair most of the day. But we were seeing a wound care specialist, so we have not been able to do that. I do have supplies, and my supplies have been coming on a regular basis. However, the pressure sores are really, really bad. So I changed him. He has them on his elbows, on his feet, and I mean, they're really, really bad. So that in itself, I've become, you know, a doctor, a wound care specialist, and it's fine because, you know, that just comes with, you know, me being a mom too, but that has been really, really tough. One of the other things that we were struggling with is Kyle had what appeared to be like a little bit of a cold, and I had to break down and actually take him to the doctor, but I was terrified of taking him to the doctor. I didn't know what to do. I called first, and they said, well, do you think you need to bring him in? I'm like, well, give me a few days. Let me try to see what I can do. But it got so bad. He was so congested, had a lot of trouble breathing. And this was probably in the beginning. I would say maybe mid-April. So I went ahead, took him in, and they took our temperatures. They gave us masks, and we were really the only patients in the waiting room at the time. But again, I left out of there and I was just so nervous because I'm thinking, okay, I know we're going to get care and get treatment, but again, it was just so much unknown. So for me, I'm a single mom. So I can't get sick. I can't afford to get sick. I don't have that backup for me. So I have actually myself really just hunkered down in the house, not, grocery store trip, pretty much it for me. I used to take Kyle out to the park, especially during the summer months. We would get out, do a little road trip. We haven't done anything. And although he's very severe, I always say, these kids know more than what we think they know. So, I think, oh, well, he doesn't know. But I think he knows, like, why are we in the house so much? I'm not getting any vitamin D, no sunlight, nothing, And I'll take him for a little bit of a walk. But again, we're masking. We have masks on, we go for a walk, and I guess people are looking at us like, why is she outside with a mask? But again, I don't know how it affects him. So I don't even really have other words to say other than it has been a challenge for myself. But I am starting to look at things kind of like Jen I think it's the glass half full versus half empty. And I'm trying to take each day slowly. I take deep breaths, I'm like, I pray a lot every day, sometimes multiple times just to get me through. I had to turn the television off. That kind of gets you a little spooked out and crazy. So yeah, I did. I started watching some, reality shows to kind of take me away from everything. But like I said, I'm still nervous about it, and we don't know what the fall looks like. But again, he will not be returning because I can't take that risk.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. Deborah, is it time for a
interpreter switch?
Yes. Thank you, Robin. Are we good? Okay. So Gwen, you're up.
All right, I'm unmuting. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here. And thank you to Jen and Robin for your stories. It seems like we're answering all the questions at once. So maybe I'll just sort of free form it and pick some of the highlights. So David is 27 and he's been out of school for 5 years. And I say the last 5 years, we've worked really hard on creating a perfect life for him, custom tailored to David's interests and needs. David was working 2 part-time jobs, close to 35 hours a week. And in January, we transitioned David to a group home. We had worked on that also for about 5 years, and we got him all set up in this new place, and he was doing well. And his parents, my husband and I, we were doing less well because, the transition was hard on us, but David was really starting to associate his life in this home with other friends and really was enjoying that. And David has had a caregiver through the Cardinal Innovations Waiver Program for 15 years, working side by side, first as a student and now as an adult, as a job coach, and doing community networking hours with him. So his life was really full, and boom, COVID comes. And the group home started to place many restrictions on the ability for people to go in and out. And David continued to go to work until the jobs were closed. I mean, the businesses were closed, but the group home was really not quite so happy about the fact that he was going out to work. The others in the home did not have these kinds of jobs, and the RSI, which is the group home he lives in Chapel Hill, their day programs closed, so that residents were really staying at home. So once they said that he had restricted movement and they were now not really excited about his caregiver coming in, his caregiver could come in and embed there, and that could be the only thing they did, or his movement would have to be restricted. So that just doesn't work for me, right? David can't call his parents on the phone. He didn't have the appropriate technology. I didn't have the confidence in the staff because we had only been there a few months to know there weren't enough activities to engage him all day long at the house, even before when he was working. So my husband and I made a decision that we had to take him out and bring him back home. And luckily we're in a position to have him come back to his house. He actually didn't have a room anymore because we had moved all of his furniture out, but we gave him another place and he was fine with that. He's a pretty flexible guy. And I would say for the first 3 weeks, as things were shutting down every day, where am I going? Why am I here? I mean, luckily his caregiver, who he knows so well and is just a perfect match, was able to come to the house. And the caregiver actually has not missed one day of work since COVID hit in March. And so we're really, really fortunate to have that continued support. And the waiver care coordinator and others, really helped us pivot from the kinds of activities that he was doing at his jobs to doing those things in our house. One of his jobs continued, they got a PPP grant, they continued to pay him for his engagement around work at the daycare center through middle of July. So, that was really great. David got involved in a nonprofit organization's work creating a personal protective equipment for healthcare workers. They were making homemade face shields. And when I saw what that was about, I said, I think my son can do that. It was piecework. It was, relatively simple in its construction. And I said, well, he used to clean toys at the daycare center and he used to do piecework there. Well, let's see if we can teach him some new skills, really focus on attention and focus and, keeping a work schedule. And so we were really able to take all of those, that whole work schedule and rebuild it in our house because our caregiver was there with him. And he's done such a great job teaching David new skills over the years. So David, we also, he spent a lot of time in those first few weeks asking us, can I go here? Can I go there? Can I see this one? Can I see that one? And, the answer was always the same. This was closed, 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 closed. I mean, how many times a day do we say closed, closed, closed? And then, he has no idea why. And so then, then we're telling him sick, sick, sick. So I guess in his head, everybody in the world is sick. And in fact, what we're trying to tell him is we're trying to keep people from getting sick and that he can't go places because we're worried that he might get sick. When he was a little baby, David was born prematurely. He's a triplet. He was in the ICU, in the NICU for 5 months. He was on oxygen for 3 years. He had pulmonary bronchodysplasia as a baby. Thank God he's been healthy, but a virus like this could just wreak havoc and we weren't willing to take the risk. So staying in our home, staying safe, staying inside, transitioning all of his fun activities to inside our house was what was really needed. His caregiver took him out once or twice a day for some exercise. He has cerebral palsy as well, so staying active and being able to walk and exercise is really important for him as well. So, I think we've done really remarkably well switching our lives around. My husband and I were figuring out this empty nest thing. And I guess because we can't do anything anyway, right? We got a lot of time on our hands. So we just opened up our arms and said, come on home, Dave. We'll get back to our old routine. And it's actually quite nice to have him back in our house. And it's really nice to not have to worry about logistics and interacting with new staff at the group home. We're just back to our own routine. We don't have as much support as we did before we moved him into the group home. Just because of the way David's care plan is structured, we can't really redo it because we're still paying rent at the group home and we hope someday that he'll be able to go back there. So before we had 84 hours of services a week and now we only have 40. So it's a lot of mom and dad time and we're really pulling those natural supports. So next year when they ask about that in the care planning, I can say, oh yeah, we did maximal natural supports here. Nobody can question that. But it's what he needs and it's what our family needed. So, like I said, overall, I think he's doing fine. What is going to happen next? We have no idea. Is he ever going to be able to go back? Are the restrictions ever going to get loosened in the congregate living? His group home had 14 cases of COVID, luckily not in the house where he lived. But that's so scary. They did a great job of containing it, but I'm not necessarily willing to risk that. And I'm really not willing to have David be isolated every day, living in his room with no, opportunities for recreation and socialization. So for the time being, I work from home, my husband works from home, David works from home, the caregiver works from our home. Got a lot of people under each other's feet working from home, but so far we've done a pretty good job of keeping it together. I just feel for him because, as an adult, we really worked really hard to create this life that is really good for him. And I know he gets a lot of satisfaction and pride out of working. He really wants to go back to work, but the two workplaces are not yet fully open to have him come back. And I'm really, really worried about people who have disabilities, who have jobs with support, with so many people being out of work and unemployed. When workplaces reopen, what will be the value proposition for the organization? Who will they bring back first? Will there be a job for my son and my son's peers in organizations that have opened up their hearts to allow them to work? It's crazy for them too, and I don't think that these organizations have fully thought about that. My son works at a daycare center. It's actually on the campus of where I work in Research Triangle Park, and it is the daycare center that all 4 of my children went to, including David, while they were babies up to age 5. And so there's a special relationship there. And when David graduated from high school, the director of the program, who was the director when he was a baby, really recruited him to come in and created a really nice job for him. He is treated like every other person in that daycare center, and he got their PPP money through the time then they were closed. Now he's furloughed, but they have said as soon as we're able to open up, David is welcome back here, and we hope that you will feel that it's safe enough for him to come back. But I'm not so sure that's the same thing for the other jobs that he has had. And I don't fault the workplaces, because I understand that there are stresses that we all have to work on. But David's care plan and his services are tied to his ability to work. And if we lose that, we lose everything. And we won't be able to have the caregiver that we've had for this long, because he will need to go get a job. He will not be able to support David the way he has been supporting him. So there's a lot on the line. And if you ask about my anxiety thermometer, well, that's where it is.
That's the next question.
I know, but I think we've answered all the questions all along. I'm just nervous. My anxiety thermometer is all about whether David will be able to have the life as an adult that we have worked so hard to build. And thank you very much.
So hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Ro, let's do an interpreter switch.
Okay.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you so much. Are we good? We're good. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to blend the second and third question together for you three. Y'all have done such a great job of responding, so I'm going to blend it a little bit. It clearly appears that the 2020-2021 school year will begin like no other. And there's some really agonizing decisions to be made. And I do want each of you to touch on just giving us a reflective measure of your anxiety thermostat. But then also, we know clearly that none of us can pour from an empty cup. And self-care while supporting others is nearly impossible to achieve. Fatigue has set in, and it is real. And finding balance for our families is truly non-existent. So please share with us what particular coping strategies, self-care practices, resources, and wisdom that has been most helpful for your family to survive this challenging time. Would you please share these tools and tips so that other families can learn and listen to and use them perhaps to navigate the days ahead? So bottom line, what is it that helps to keep the wheels on your family bus, so to speak? And I think I'll start with Robin this time.
Well, I kind of touched on it a little bit. I don't have a strong support system here. I'm not from North Carolina, although I've been here 15 years, so it's kind of home. It's Kyle's home. We moved here when he was 1, and he's 15 now, so he's been here all his life. So this is what he knows. For me, I think just, it's really funny about this, and I've heard other people say this. It's a lot of anxiety with this pandemic or COVID or Corona. It has so many different names, but one of the things is it's actually slowed me down a little bit, and I can actually, I still have my days when I have lots of anxiety, but I'm kind of laser focused a little bit more, if that makes any sense. Like I guess because we had no choice but to kind of stop. Everything just kind of stopped, and I'm at home more, and actually got to organize a few things that I didn't think I would ever get to, and that was kind of therapeutic, believe it or not. Just purging a little bit. I'm just taking a little bit more time for me, which is, it's kind of hard to say, well, I'm taking time for me, and then I'm stuck with Kyle, which I'm not really stuck with him, but we're in the house together, quarantined together. But I'm just slowing myself down. I don't feel rushed. I'm not rushed to do anything anymore. It's I'm just taking my time with everything that I do. I've actually taken a few more baths. I'm a shower girl, but I've actually taken some baths, and even Kyle. I bought Kyle about 3 years ago a little foot massager, and it's kind of the one where you fill it up with the bubbles, and he's actually had a little time where I put his feet in there, and he's sitting, he's really relaxed. The bubbles are going and the vibrating and he's enjoying it. So these are things that I kind of, life was moving so fast. Everything was just moving so fast that I've actually, the quality time with him, comes with other stresses, of course, but the quality time has actually been really nice for me. We go out for walks, but the walks are fine. But again, like I told you, I used to take them to the park, where we're not really doing the parks anymore, which I think is okay to do the park, but I just don't want to be around too many people with them. So we haven't done any beaches, which is kind of sad because we're really missing water. We just feel like we don't have a pool or one near, so we're missing out, at least going for a swim. I actually can tell you with myself, with the prices of food, I think, and I'm on these different websites and blogs, I might actually become a vegetarian, or I'm not going to say a vegetarian because I still like meat, but a vegan, maybe a partial vegan. So I'm enjoying cooking a little bit more. So that was one of the things. I haven't had any fast food in a month, and that's pretty good. So, it's got some, again, it comes with anxiety with other things, but there is some good that's come out of it too. I don't want to say it's all been bad or sad. There's been some, like I said, spending quality time with Kyle has really been kind of nice, But again, with resources, I wanted to touch on that a little bit with me being a teacher, and I'm sure if there's other teachers that are on, I shared this, with Rowena, that I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have heard of the Books app, and it's VOOKS. And what I've been doing, it's been a godsend for Kyle. Kyle, we got a year ago, we got an iPad through the I Can Connect program. And I downloaded a bunch of apps on the iPad for him. So Books is one of the ones that if you have time to kind of look at, if you don't know about it already, there is a fee, but I'm a teacher, so I think I got it free for a year. I know with COVID, some apps have waived fees, so you have to look into it to see if there's still a fee for it. It says $4.99 a month, but again, it could be waived for parents right now during this time. But it's an interactive storybook, and it's really, really nice. And he enjoys it. It has such great stories. So again, it's books.com, I think it is. Yeah, books.com, and it just has great stories. So that has been a great, and Kyle likes things that, he loves high-pitched voices. So again, cartoons, he loves like anything Mickey Mouse or Elmo. So I put those on his iPad, and he listens to them, and you know, that's just one of the things for him that's a great resource that I've been using. What was the other one? I've actually become quite silly. I was always kind of silly, but I'm a little bit sillier now that I'm in the house and no one that can really see me. But Kyle, what do we do? We do a bunch of, we go on YouTube and we do like Just Dance. And if you're familiar, if you're a teacher, Go Noodle. And we signed up for those, and we just kind of really having, when the moment hits me, we're having a little fun around the house. I also have 2 puppies, and they've become quite needy. And so we are all dancing in the house when the moment hits us. But again, I'm just taking some time to, you know, just take it all in.
Robin, send us some of the resources that you just shared, and we'll share with the group.
Okay, I will.
I guess we need to move on, Ro. We got about 15 more minutes.
Okay, Gwen, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Sure. I mean, I think this theme of slowing down is a clear one. It's you know, you build your life in ways where you try to get so much done and take advantage of everything. And when the world stops and you have to slow down first, you're not quite so sure what that's going to look like. So during this time, David has learned how to use Roku on our television, and we put the YouTube channel on there, and he's a big YouTube guy, and he can now go get his own stuff. If only he knew how to spell all the words of things that he would like to watch. He still needs some help. But, you know, so watching movies with my husband, something we've just never made time for, but we do that now. We have a piano in our house that none of us have actually ever played, but some of us know how to play it. But we discovered that David really likes the piano. And if we remember to bring him into the piano room, he can entertain us for quite some time. And it just opens up sort of new opportunities when you have time to pursue them. We have gone to the beach many times since the COVID pandemic has started, and it's such a relaxing place for all of us. And David really enjoys his time here, sleeping late and sitting on the rocking chair, and just watching the ocean is such a relaxing thing. And I have decided, I don't know why, that I want to learn how to paint with watercolors. And so I went to the store and I bought myself some art supplies, and in the evening when I'm here, and you know, I have time to pursue these things. I've actually read a few books. I've downloaded some audiobooks and listened to them while I walk, either in my neighborhood or on the beach. I mean, I work over 50, sometimes 60 hours a week, and with commuting and then coming home and taking care of myself or my husband or my 4 children growing up, who had time for any of this stuff? And so in that regard, it's sort of nice to be able to do that. I'm really into these face masks that like give you a little facial. Never even had time for that or thought to do that. And I just love them. And it's just 30 minutes and you feel so good. And I go, wow, my skin looks good. You know, it just makes you feel better. And actually this week in the middle of my workday, I actually did some yoga on YouTube, which my kids laughed their heads off. They couldn't believe I'd taken time to do that. But, you know, people say this all the time. I never figured this out. You know, they would take time at lunch to go work out, or they'd go run or whatever. And all I did was eat lunch at my desk and ran from meeting to meeting. So now I can eat lunch in my kitchen. I can actually have breakfast before I have to run out of the house. And there's just so much more time during the day to be able to, you know, sort of stop and take advantage of life. So maybe that's a blessing, right? We've got something positive from this negative experience, and take advantage of it now, because when it all goes back to normal, we'll forget that we had the opportunity.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
I think I'm gonna try that face mask.
I know, it sounds great to me.
Yeah.
We might have to
But we need to do an interpreter switch, Ro.
Okay. Great. We're there. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen. So Jen, it's your turn. And you're on mute. It's okay.
Before you start, Jen, let's see. Blair made a comment for Gwen. She mentioned watercolors, and it reminded me of a fun resource, skillpop.com, where you can take fun classes online. Watercolor is one of them. They're relaxed, one-time kind of thing to get you started on a new skill to see if you like it. Thank you, Blair. Okay, I just wanted to share that with Gwen.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mirror a lot of the same comments, right, from Robin and Gwen, that again, you know, with all this crazy environment, it's the silver lining for us has been to be able to slow down. I've really enjoyed that fact, and being able to be home, and not have to run out the door like Gwen, like, okay, just grab a cup of coffee and I'm out the door, and then I'm 15 other things waiting on me. So that has been nice. No hour commute to and from. So I've actually found a lot of, you know, good time for myself, actually. So that's been nice. The anxiety thermostat. So yeah, it's definitely there. As I mentioned, it's just a really hard situation that we're in for our family. I continue to kind of chunk it down, right? I have to think of like the smaller unit to bring us through to the next step. And that's really where my focus is, that, yeah, life's tough. It's tough for all of us, and we're all in this together. And just remembering that we're not doing this alone, right? Everybody's kind of in the same boat. But, you know, spending more time with Andrew has been a blessing. It has been something that we could have never forecasted. It's allowed us to focus on what's really important here. And what are we doing? Like every day, if this ever does go away, where are we in this new life, you know? And what can we do for Andrew? Because he is what motivates us. He is what brings us from step to step. And really focusing in on how this is affecting him. Just the stress on him, the anxiety that this has caused, bringing him out of such a structured world that we created for him, has, I don't really know the true impact because Andrew's not able to tell us, but Andrew has experienced a lot of twitching, a lot of just reactions and behaviors that we've never seen him exhibit before. And so much like what Robin was saying, you know, taking your son to the doctor, we're going to neurologist, we've never been to the neurologist, what does this look like? And on top of that, we did do a dental appointment for Andrew. I always try to stay on top of things for him. And they said, oh, well, Andrew has to have 2 teeth pulled. He's got a couple of small cavities. Really? Like during COVID, could this not happen at a better time? So I'm like, okay, now what? What do we have to do? Like, I'm thinking through, like, okay, my normal process is, okay, we'll start talking about it, but I don't want to do that because Andrew's already twitching. You know, what is this going to make him, you know, react with at that, hearing those words? So, yeah, the anxiety thermometer is certainly high, but my coping mechanism is, again, to chunk it down, to focus on one thing at a time. And also with the free time, it has enabled me to think about myself, as I mentioned. And in my past life, before I had Andrew, I had it's called a card club. And I would make handmade cards that we would send to others. And I had a group of ladies that would come every month, and I would actually create the project, cut it all out. It's very therapeutic, They come, we have a great time. However, we're not able to do that in person. I just had my very first in-person event 2 weeks ago, and we did our face masks. I did the, Clorox, everything after everyone left, and just really thinking through, how is this going? How can I do this? How can this work? Like, I'm always thinking about, yes, we have these restrictions, but something has to be able to work here. So we did, and everything has been fine. Thinking about going back into school, that is a question that we've just continued to talk about. I don't know the right answer, right? I desperately want the structure. I desperately want a schedule for us and for Andrew. But at what cost? I don't know. I will say that we just talked to the assistant principal at the new school. She called last night, actually, and asked me the million-dollar question: is Andrew coming to school, or is he going to be virtual? And I told her he was going to be in school. So that is where we are today. The classroom has 5 other children besides Andrew. They're saying that they're going to be social distancing 6 feet apart. They all have to wear masks. They're going to have mask breaks outside or in the gymnasium. And at any given time, there will be a maximum of 100 people in the school at any given time. And no one is at school on Fridays. So Andrew has a one-on-one caregiver, an interpreter, who is with him. And I don't know how that's going to work. He's visually impaired as well as hearing impaired. And we're just going to figure it out, y'all. That's all I know to say. But yes, balancing life with our own self-care and coping mechanisms is so critical. To Rowena's point, you cannot continue to pour out without filling yourself, right? And it whatever that looks like for you, find that thing, find those things, find what it is that really fills you up and enables you to keep doing what you have to do, because this is our first job and everything else is secondary. So I think those are my kind of parting words. But doing fun things, even though, Andrew's used to going to the pool and that, he's not asked about the pool, and I'm not going. I'm just like, I don't want to be that close to people. But it's okay. We do other things for fun, right? And let me see if there's anything else I was going to tell y'all. I think that's it. So yes, life is okay. We are surviving. We're healthy, and that's where we're going to keep it, where we hope to keep it. And Andrew is learning. He knows he has to wear a mask anytime we take him out. He's actually like the mask police. He's like, Mama mask, Daddy mask, mask. And so we continue to, we've obviously taught him that. That's a good thing. So yeah, good things will come.
Thank you, Jen.
Ro, I'm going to share this comment in the chat box. I'm learning so much from these parent stories, and I so appreciate hearing ways you're trying to have fun with your kids and finding ways to care of yourself with the slower pace to life. Very valuable hour. Thank you, everyone. I will share the link for this video when it is posted on the ECAC website. Thank you for all the access.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we have one last question. And Deborah and I and ECAC and the North Carolina Deafblind Project, we work in collaboration with ECU and DPI. And we want to give you, all the families we serve, the encouragement and support that each of you need to defeat these COVID giants that we're all encountering. And these are extraordinary times. And listening to you thus far has been so instructive. And COVID-19 is battling our state. And, we have a lot of professionals who are attending today as well. And this gives us food for thought. You know, perhaps as organizations and agencies, we can really find some new, innovative, creative, unconventional strategies to provide impactful and effective, targeted and intensive glue, some cohesion and coordinated effort, a linking of arms, so to speak, to continue and bolster and support these families, your families in your efforts. You know, I can identify, I think pre-COVID, having a child with disabilities, we already felt isolated, but disconnection really affects our ability to get through life's most difficult times. And honestly, there are some great inequities to remote learning for a lot of our vulnerable children. We have children who thrive on routine, and it is next to impossible to replicate at home what's done at school, and juggling your day job on top of everything else. So we ask you, what do you need now? What is your most pressing concern? And if you have a second to just share with us your thoughts on that. Gwen, we'll start with you.
Sure. Thanks for that question, Rowena. It's a really great one. But I want to start by just saying how grateful I am. You know, over the 27 years of raising a child with special needs, I've been a heartfelt, hard-working advocate for my son's needs. And I have complained a lot. I want to say thank you. People have stepped up really big time, just checking in on us. And as you can see, I'm really stretching here. But I want to name a few people. First of all, the telecommunications I Can Connect program, they certified my son in 24 hours for an iPad because we realized that the machinery we had bought was just too old and wasn't going to support him. So like I said, that was just blew my mind. His deafblind specialist, Alex Velez, amazing guy, checks in on us regularly, always asking what we need. Our care coordinators at Cardinal, checking on us regularly. And I would say, like, when life was just normal, I was the one who always had to reach out with a question or ask. Monarch is our provider, and the program manager who is responsible for our family checks in with David and me every single week. And with other providers over the last 27 years, I have never seen that, never. So I don't know if there's something very specific about this time, but I feel the love and it feels good. I think that DHHS has done an amazing job with the Amendment K and the communication that they've done for families and for providers, weekly webinars. I mean, in fact, there's just so many of these webinars that you can't even possibly be on all of them, but the information is there for people who want to take it. And it's really made me stop and just say thank you. And so I just need people to do this all the time to make the families feel like the professionals that we work with are on our team and feel, want the best for our children and for our families. And I think this is a great place to go forward because we can see how we can all really work collaboratively and really have a person-centered approach for our special loved ones. So thanks for the opportunity for letting me say thank you.
Beautiful answer. Thank you, Gwen.
Yeah, thanks for saying thank you, Gwen. We appreciate all you do. Mm-hmm.
We really do. And as I said earlier, this is a matter of the heart. We've asked y'all to share your hearts with us, and this is our children. So this is our heart. I'm gonna
interpreter switch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Are we good? Great. Thank you. I heard something that really, what you just said, Gwen, it touched a chord with me that I heard something that really resonated with me. I heard someone say, there is no such thing as other people's children. They are all our children. And we are community, and we need human connection. And connections are what is the good stuff of life, and we're all dealing with the tough stuff. So it's just so important that we stay connected. And so anyway, I'm going to go to you now, Jen, and ask you to give us your answer on your pressing needs and concerns.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen. Yeah, to say specifically what we need as a family to support Andrew, I really feel like we just need community. We're, you know, secluded, singled out by ourselves, you know, and it's tough. We don't actually have a waiver. We don't have a lot of the resources that a lot of other families with special needs children have. So we actually go a different route. We, you know, we've kind of set up our own support system. My parents moved here for our son several years ago, and Andrew's very used to them. And then we've also have someone that's used to working with Andrew from the school that's worked with him a couple of years. She now comes twice a week, and it is such a blessing to see them come. And Andrew just lights up. And they're doing schoolwork, they're doing fun play, they're doing things that we're not able to do because we're so focused on keeping life running, right? Just doing our job. Yeah, I just think that it's just a really good time for us to be able to connect with other families, other parents, other caregivers, and really just connect and link arms together, because we are the community. We are who help each other. And so I truly believe in that. I believe that in my heart. And I'm passionate about it. And I just want to be there for others because, again, you know, to Gwen's point, it's just community is what makes everything. It brings it down and it makes it better for our kiddos. It doesn't matter the diagnosis or where you live. We have, you know, technology and we can make it work, but really bonding together and knowing kind of what's going on in each other's lives, that keeps you connected, and we all need it. So thanks for all you guys do, Rowena and Deborah.
I just feel like I want to give you a big hug, Jen. I mean, I know we can't touch, but thank you so much for opening up and sharing what you need, because we all need to hear that.
Definitely. This is matters of the heart, without a doubt. So Robin, I'm going to ask you the same question. You're on mute, actually.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can now. Great.
All right. I'll make mine pretty quick. Again, I would also like to thank ECAC, Deborah, and Rowena in particular, because again, I told you I'm not from here, but when I first moved here, I can't remember how we found out. Someone told us about the Deafblind Project and ECAC, and then we met Deborah. So she's known us for a very long time. We've been Kyle's 15. So when I moved here, he was 1. I think we've been a part of the project since he was probably 2 or 3. I'm not sure, maybe 3. And so I've gotten to meet a lot of parents, and the trainings and the family calls, they have been so valuable. I've learned so much. And then too, I'm one of those, if I see something or someone has something, I'm like, where'd you get that? Or who do you know? And, you know, so I will go up to people and ask questions and things, but you guys have really, really been there. It's been a great resource for myself and for Kyle. Like I said, the trainings have just been great. And yeah, they're a little bit of a getaway, but you learn so much when we were allowed to, you know, meet with each other. And I've even, the Deafblind Project has even paid for me to go on a trip to Chicago, and I think at one other place. And it was the things that I just really wanted to know and learn about. And you guys allowed me to do that. So I'm appreciative of that, because I couldn't have been able to afford it on my own. So I just want to thank you. You guys have really been there for me and Kyle. And honestly, I think what you're doing is great. I don't think I mean, you know, the family, I think this is a family. I really do. You guys are a great support.
Well, we appreciate your support, Robin, over the years. And actually, we have a question around that. Someone had asked whether or not we were going to reinstate the calls. And initially, when we talked, and I talked to Ro last year, actually, we said that we wanted to do more face-to-face, and we would plan on going on a road trip throughout North Carolina and trying to visit some of the more rural areas of North Carolina so we can reach new families. But that was before COVID-19. And so now I think Ro and I need to talk again about bringing back the telephone conference calls since we can't go out on the road. But we appreciate all your support, and every time we ask you to help us or do something, you graciously accept it. So I appreciate that. And another question in the, no, this is not a question. This is more of what they do. The person asked that question, and I want to keep the name confidential. But this person said that she prays, she stretch, breathe, and give my day to God. She, because her son, he is immune suppressed because of a heart transplant. They go on little trails, play games. They meet up a couple times a week with a peer and caregiver who do a walk with us, but we stay our distance and we keep on our mask. So thank you for sharing in the Q&A. If you have, and that's what we're getting to next, I guess, Roy, you want them to go ahead and start putting any questions for the parents?
Yes, if anybody has any questions to pose to any of our three panelists, parent panelists, please do so now. And I would just like to say, you know, we want to continue to strengthen and build our capacity building for connections and community for our families with children on the census. And, you know, we would love for you to reach out to Deborah or me, email us, call us, let us know what you need. That is why we're here. And like I said, we live it too. We're not people just telling you what to do. We're living it right along with you. You know, there've been suggestions of more parent panel webinars like this, and perhaps do a series. There have been some fun ideas of, you know, we really can't provide a happy hour on Zoom, but we could provide a joy hour. And what a fun thing, you know, humor is medicinal in the glue for all of us. And, you know, it'd be fun to have a joy hour for parents, family members, guardians to get on and just, you know, do that on a regular basis. Ideas like that. I mean, we are open to suggestions. We want to continue to grow our community. And I really look at our community as really like a tapestry. And every family and every child, every learner with deafblindness is a different thread, a beautiful, golden, vibrant thread. And when they're all interwoven, they create this beautiful fabric. And the more tightly they're woven, the more strong and durable it becomes. And that's what I see for us. I really do. And you three parent panelists today have just been remarkable with being so organic and open. And we just can't tell you how grateful we are. And
okay, we're going to do an interpreter switch right quick. We have about 10 more minutes.
Yeah. So are there any other questions or comments, Doug?
I don't see, let's wait till the interpreter switch because I was going to add something.
Okay.
Jeff's back. Okay. I forgot to mention this at the very beginning. We give a lot of individualized assistance, especially as it relates to the IEP. So if you need help with your child's IEP, especially now that they'll probably be doing a lot of remote learning, give us a call and we'll help you individually. And we do attend IEP meetings, depending on the situation and whether or not we feel that we can add value within that conversation at the IEP meeting. So feel free to give us a call at ECAC and they'll connect you directly with, actually, I think I put my email address in the chat box and you can also call ECAC as well. And Amy put in the chat box, oh, it's thunder and lightning here. Amy put in the chat box that she will have the recording uploaded to our website tomorrow. Thank you, Amy. But we'll add our email address. And then if you can just put, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just ask it in the Q&A box.
I have one last thing to say. It's kind of actually a little funny. I have a neighbor who's a carpenter, and I watch him all the time, and he's in his yard and he's building so many things, you know. So I'm on Pinterest one day, and we always hear about man caves, right? And I'm thinking, you know what? I asked my girlfriend back home, I said, do you think this would be inappropriate? I have a picture, hopefully you guys can see it. Would you think it'd be inappropriate if I asked him to build this? And I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a mama's wine shack.
I like that.
We'll race it there.
So I think I really want to ask him to build, well, maybe a smaller scale, but I thought it was so cute.
You can bring that to the Roy and I can't partake, and we're working, but we can be there.
Right. I'm in for home, you know.
Hey, I have a question for the panelists who have children at school age. I'm just curious, you know, if you go to even a partial virtual schedule, so many of our kids have interveners or one-on-ones, interpreters. Does school provide any of that, either through the virtual portal or sending to your house? I mean, how's that going to work for our kids who get that extra support as the IEP needs to be amended for the new school year? Did they do any of that for you from March to the end of the school year?
No.
Do it
So
all
we did. I can speak to the Zoom meetings that we would have. We would have individual Zoom meetings. Just the mom that I am, I always just tried to keep everybody on point and say, you know, you were meeting with Andrew this number of days, or, you know, this time. But his interpreter was always on as well. It didn't work so well. You know, Andrew, he's easily distracted, and you know, it just didn't work very well. I would have to just kind of hone the video into just the one therapist, but you know, I think probably every child is different. But yeah, the interpreter was available, and she was there anytime we needed her.
Oh, that's good. I just wondered how the school systems pivoted when the special ed kids, you know, were staying at home, coming into the building.
We don't really know now what's going to happen. So again, like I said, I'm in the process of homeschooling, so I'll be doing everything.
So did Kyle have a one-on-one in the classroom when he was in school?
He barely had a teacher. I mean, challenges, yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging. No, absolutely. And it always falls on us moms, right? Other duties as assigned.
Yes.
Thanks for that question, Gwen.
Yeah.
Rowena, I don't see any more questions in the Q&A box or the chat box.
Okay.
I think we may be good.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I hope this is one of many more conversations that will connect all of us together and build our community and strengthen us as we navigate this Corona coaster that we are all on. And, you know, we all have to, y'all are all such great examples of y'all find joy, and joy is essential to life. And where we foster joy, we elevate hope. And y'all have instilled in me great hope today. So thank you so much for your message. We hear it loud and clear. As I said, we see you, we hear you, and we care. So thank you so much to everyone for being here, to our interpreters and our captioner, and Deborah for manning the ship and handling all the technology for us today. You did a phenomenal job. And
thank you for doing this. I know we have a representative on the line from the National Center for Deaf Blindness. I don't know if she wants to say anything. I'm gonna put her on the spot. Let's see. And also Kim Harrell. She's in charge of the blind specialists in North Carolina, and Megan Cody, who is, with the National Center on Deaf Blindness. I have unmuted your line if you would like to share anything and what you're doing. Kim
Hi,
or
Miss
Megan?
Deborah. Yeah, can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if I can figure out how to do my camera. I can't. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
No, it's all right. I just want to say thank you to the parents that presented today. It was really lovely. And thank you to Deborah and Ro for organizing such an important conversation. I think right now, the real test for everyone, providers and families, is creativity and resiliency and grace and patience. So kudos to you guys for clearly bringing that to the forefront of the conversation. And also to, I'm sure that Deborah and Ro have shared with you all, but NCDB has taken the time to curate resources for COVID and put them in the For Families section of our NCDB website. So if you are looking for resources, I encourage you guys to go there and check those out, because it may lead you down the path to the information that you guys need. And if not, definitely connect with Ro and Deborah, because they are the queens of North Carolina and deaf blindness and resources local to your state.
Thank you, Megan.
Sure.
Excellent resources on the National Center for Deaf Blind site. And I think I sent you an email with the professional development that's coming up for establishing home routines. That webinar, I think it's coming up. What date is that? Is that?
It's actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Nothing like the last minute. It's tomorrow.
But if you need more information, just reach out to me. Kim Hara, are you still on?
She's on mute.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can take you off. Okay.
Can you hear me, Deborah?
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Okay, great. Oh, yes. This was a wonderful webinar. Thank you so much for having that, and for each of the panelists and sharing your stories. And it's very important for us to keep in touch and stay connected. And just know that the Division of Services for the Blind is out there, and we do have, deaf blind specialists that, we are more than willing to speak with you and see how we can all work together. Thank you.
How many deaf blind specialists do you have, Kim?
Well, Deborah, I'm very happy to announce that finally we have 5, which is a full staff.
Oh, good.
So we do have 5 filled positions. One's in Raleigh, one is in Winston-Salem, one is in Asheville, one is in Greenville, and one is in Wilmington. So that is where our specialists are located, and we cover all 100 counties. So that's great.
That is great. Thank you so much, Kim. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah, your screen is frozen. I think she's experiencing some inclement weather, so her technological savviness may have just come to an end, because I think that Mother Nature has higher powers than she does. She's pretty darn impressive, but I think Mother Nature might win this one. So I just want to again thank everyone for being here today. It was just a rewarding, meaningful, substantive conversation with each of you, and we just appreciate you telling your narrative, you sharing your story, and someone here, I know I've been rewarded and have learned from listening, and I know others have too. So again, thank you to everybody, and everybody have a great afternoon. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Jeff and Karen, thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Excellent
Take care.
job, as always.
Thanks. Take care.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And Robin, you're fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
See you next time.
All right. Everybody have a good afternoon.
All right, I'm
You
trying to
too.
log off here. I'm saying leave meeting. Okay, leave meeting. Okay.